Hi there. I have just finished a 3-day dry fast, my first 3-day dry fast, and I feel absolutely amazing. So, a couple of you have been asking me to share some resources with you about fasting. So, that's what I'm going to do today. For me, fasting has had amazing effects, not just on the body, but the mind and the spirit as well. I feel so much more tuned in to the divine. I feel so much more connected to people. I feel so much better in the head. It's as if the emotional and the spiritual stuff is being cleansed at the same time. I really believe that. So, my first resource that I would like to share with you is on general fasting, water fasting. This is by Dr. David Jockers, and it's called The Fasting Transformation. Now, this book was possibly the first one or one of the first I picked up. I can't quite remember, on fasting. And it's a really good general guide. It's got a lot of science in it. So if you're not sure whether you can fast, and if you're not sure whether it's actually good for you, because there are a lot of myths out there from people like my mother who have never done even more than 12 hours of fasting, trying to tell me that I'm killing myself with it. There are a lot of people like that, and they will put you off. So that's a really, really good science-based. It explains what is going on and what you're doing, what your body's doing at each stage of the fast, and it's amazing. I would highly recommend that as a starting point. If you've been doing water fasting for a while and you want to try dry fasting, but again, you're a bit scared, and I've done quite a lot of fasting last year. I've done 7 days in January, and that was because I was sick with my jaw infection, and that just affected everything. And so January 7 days, February 7 days, March I got sick again. I did 10 days and I didn't want to stop. I felt so freaking amazing, but I was getting too skinny and I was getting a little bit apprehensive about burning muscle for fuel. And then I did one more in April, and that didn't feel so right. So that told me my body doesn't really want this anymore. And I stopped, but I didn't stop completely. I was doing a little bit, like 1 or 2 days at a time. So if you want to graduate from water fasting to dry fasting, this is a good little book. It's by August Dunning, and it's called The Phoenix Protocol. Again, it's got plenty of science, it's got plenty of examples, and it will just put your mind at ease that this is actually okay and you are going to survive. But you have to be careful what you're doing, and you can't just dump yourself in it without reading anything or researching it. My last and most important, if you want to do longer dry fasts, is this one. And it's by Dr. Sergey Filonov. It's called Dry Fasting 20 Questions and Answers. And this is quite a thick book. I would call it a definitive guide. It will show you different protocols you can do. You should always start with 1 day dry fast. There's no going around that. Your body will get too much of a shock if you do too much too quickly. He explains all the science. He gives you examples of what he has achieved with his clients, with his patients. This will debunk your myth that we only can survive for 3 days without water. I survived for 3 days without water and food perfectly. Absolutely no headaches, no nothing. So I don't look exactly close to death, do I, at the moment? And I just finished it. I started drinking last night. So this doctor has been doing 11-day fasts with his patients in a hospital. This is not what you should be doing at home. You can do at home up to 5 days. But this proves that, yet again, we have been brainwashed by the so-called science, which tells us that you will die after 3 days of no water. It's absolute bullshit, and he explains exactly why it is so. So these are my 3 resources. If anybody has any questions, please post them in the comments. Again, I would like to reiterate how happy I feel and how amazing I feel in this 47-year-old vessel that my soul lives in, and how much it's helping me on every level of mental, physical, and spiritual health. And I would love you, if it resonates with you, to be a little bit more curious and maybe do a little bit more reading on the subject. Have an amazing day.